Welcome to the Crusader class intro guide for Diablo Immortal Alpha 2. In this series, we give you a nice introduction to the class, let you guys know how it's performing, what abilities the class has, and maybe some legendaries I found along the way, kind of give you an update on the alpha progress. This is the first time we had a chance to see Crusader, get our hands on Crusader, and I must say the class is doing really well. It's coming along nicely. Let me go ahead and jump into some gameplay for you. Before we get started, if I could just get a quick like on the video, it helps me out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. All right, let's go ahead and jump into an Elder Rift here. The thing I like about Crusader, and the thing you might notice right away, is how visceral and punchy everything feels. And it has a similar effect like that Barb has in the game. You can immediately just pull everything here, drop concentration. It's one of the best abilities it has. Spam your shields and just wreck everything. I'll maybe be quiet for like 5 seconds so you can hear the
My crusade continues.
crunches. There's a legendary that allows sweep attack to perform that way. Let's keep going over here. Get this gameplay in motion. But yeah, this is like the main gameplay loop, is you're going to want to pull them with the chain and then use some sort of AoE to just kind of nuke everything down. Look at that. I whip my flail back and forth. All right, let's keep pulling. And again, there's a lot of different ways to play, different abilities. We're going to cover them all. There'll be timestamps in the description. I guess I like the visceral nature. I like how mobile it is. The legendaries add some very interesting gameplay possibilities, like this channeled flail ability. This is the sweep attack ability right here. There's legendary gems that increase the duration time. There might be legendaries that increase the radius and duration time and damage and things like that. So it's pretty cool, man, just to have different types of gameplay. There's more counterattack style gameplay. There's like a lance ability. We'll showcase everything that I found so far. It by no means will be like an exclusive list on everything. This is just, you know, it's been like 2-3 days the alpha's been out, and we've been blasting. We hit max level. I got Barb to level 30. So we've been learning the new systems, the endgame mechanics. We've been busy out here grinding, and thought I'd give you guys a little progress report. We're almost on the Rift Guardian here. Like this spinning shield that looks like a blessed hammer, this is actually just a blessed shield.
I rebuke you.
A shield throw type of ability. Okay, let's fight the Countess here. As of right now, Crusader is one of the best classes in Alpha. Mostly because of the AoE damage from concentration. Like this, the AoE damage it can pull. But it's still so early. We don't know how it's going to shape up endgame with different legendaries. The legendaries have a big impact on how you play the class, you know, different paragon trees, all kinds of stuff might affect, you know, the power, the various power level. So, kill that Countess, and let's jump into the skills and abilities and go through them one by one. Alright, let's start from the top. Punish. So you have two primary attacks, Punish and Sacred Fire. Strike an enemy for damage, gain Hardened Senses, similar to Diablo 3, increasing your block chance by 30% for 2 seconds. Counter Attack Storm, enhance Punish for 12 seconds. Now this is your ultimate, so there's a little meter that builds up. You can see the big button that's blinking, that's your primary ability. And then there's a little bar, it's kind of hard to see. Right above it, that's your ultimate. When it builds up, you can pop your ultimate. You can save it whenever you want. And for Punish, enhance Punish for 12 seconds, striking all enemies in front of you, increasing the damage per hit, and increasing the block bonus. So it's almost like a tankier. It kind of doubles down on the Punish aspect. Sacred Fire is what I like to use a lot. It looks like this. And just for reference, let's go ahead and throw Punish on here. So you can see it's more of like a single target, kind of a tanking ability. Sacred Fire I like just because it has AoE, and I like pulling lots of mobs with my other abilities and doing like this cleave. And then your ultimate, you pull out this big two-handed sword and just go beast mode on the enemies. It's great. So you deal damage to an enemy and 25% to all other enemies in front of you. And then, like I was saying, you pull out a big two-hander. It looks like almost like a Maximus fire sword, and you just go crazy. So these ones are pretty basic, right? These are just your primary abilities, and there are legendary gems that focus on your primary abilities if you choose so. But the juice of it is the skill. So let's start off with the top, Condemn. It's all in alphabetical order here. Build up an explosion, deal damage to all nearby enemies for 3 seconds, activate to detonate early, but do damage in a smaller radius. So this is what it looks like the Condemn from D3, and then pop, right? So that's pretty nice. And then again, you can activate early. Boom. One thing I would say, which would make the skill cooler, but I don't know if you guys would like the idea. You know, Gears of War has this reload system. It'd be cool if there was like a small window, like a 10% window. If you did push it again in that end window, like right there, then maybe get like a 1% crit even, or any kind of damage bonus. I like how spells interact with each other that way. It might be hard to land in the heat of battle, but you know, the payoff I think would be pretty cool if they added that to the game. Conjuration of Light. Call down a beam of holy light from the heavens, protecting you and all nearby allies with damage immunity for 3 seconds. So it beams down, and I like this a lot, especially maybe for PvP, as if you can kind of bait out attacks, or if you see like a big damage wave coming for you and your team, you can protect everybody. Like when you do Countess runs, it's probably not needed, but she has like this crazy AoE attack that does a lot of damage, and you can time it at the right moment and protect everybody, right? And then also in PvP, if you can see an attack or somebody's getting focus fired, that's 3 seconds of immunity that could actually turn the tide on battle. So I do like this ability a lot as a situational ability. Consecration, now this is the sickest one you could probably have. This ability does so much damage like we talked about. You saw it in the video. It does damage on the ground all around you to nearby enemies over 6 seconds. And it looks like this. These are all unruined. I'll show you some maybe legendaries along the way though. My feedback for Consecration is don't nerf it, because this class would not be used if it wasn't for Consecration. In my opinion, it seems that way. So Blizzard, dude, don't touch it, okay? Just leave it alone. It's fine. It's all good. Up next, we have Drawn Quarter. It's basically Pony Satyr, but you pull enemies by default. Increase your movement speed by 65%, replacing your primary attack. Holy Chains will bind up to 8 enemies and drag them as you ride for damage. So it pulls enemies, it crowd controls them. It does damage to them, and you can do damage to them. If you notice, when I was on my horse, I can actually attack. So it's a world first mounted combat Diablo game. Pretty insane, and I love everything about it. You know, if it wasn't for, if anything, I would lower the cooldown on it. I have a legendary that increases the duration by 30%, so maybe that's good enough. This is what helps you speed farm. I'd be so sad if anything happened to Pony, just because it's really another reason why I like it so much is that mobility to get around the map and not be slow. Like Wizard feels a little slow when you play it. I got this legendary. It's a kind of a meme, but it might be useful in PvP or maybe some situational PvE encounters. You can now carry a passenger. So if you equip this, you can see you have a 2-person mount now, right, from the legendary. So it completely augments the visual of the horse, and you're able to carry people around. The first time we did it is actually hilarious. World first. Oh, look at, there's there's space now on the back. Brother, we ride to battle. Pony together. Up next we have Falling Sword. Impale your sword at a location so it does like a dot, and then you can activate it again to launch yourself to that location. And as far as I know, there's no distance, so it's doing damage like on a dot. And it teleports you. So this might have some sick jukes in PvP. It's nice to have a dot in PvE, like if the boss is about to kill you, or like just to do damage at range, and you can hide back here, and I don't know. It's kind of cool. You can go back in, and when you have your cooldowns up or whatever, there's probably, you can see why I like Crusader, right? There's a lot of weird movement abilities, and it just feels fun. Like all the abilities seem really good. I found a legendary that completely changes Falling Sword altogether, and now it has a charged like sonic boom attack like that. Hits pretty hard. There's also a Falling Sword legendary I found that allows you to dash 3 times in succession, which is great for like gap closers for PvP or just getting some quick damage in PvE. You get the 1, 2, 3. It kind of makes it like a sick kind of Holy Lance dash ability. I love that. Here's another one that says Falling Sword now chains enemies and pulls them to you. So you have like a barbed weapon chain in a way. It's called Proof from on high. So you have like this weird barbed weapon chain that could actually be useful in a lot of situations. Up next we have Holy Banner. Plant a banner that inspires allies, increasing crit chance by 100%, but decreasing damage to 150 instead of the double crit. So you're getting these guaranteed hits, but you're losing those bigger singular hits, which might be better for faster attacking classes or something like that. I'm not sure, or like if maybe it is one giant attack and you want to guarantee you get that big crit. I'm not sure how you'd use this. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments down below. It looks like this, Holy Banner. Pretty dope. It lasts a good amount of time too, and there are legendaries that affect every spell in the game. I did find one. This one replaces the banner with a taunt statue, which you might not think that is good at first. It's pretty cool. It changes the visuals and everything. I love that. But there are some PvE and boss encounters that you might need to have this, right? Like at first glance, it seems kind of useless, but after playing a lot of PvE in this game, endgame, I noticed that this might actually come in handy just to be able to pull the damage off of you. Some of the shadow encounters like have limited potion usage. So you can't use a potion in one of the PvE modes for the shadow. So like these little things like this might actually come in handy. It creates value towards something. Judgment. Pass judgment on all enemies within an area, dealing damage, slowing them. The center area will explode, dealing damage and stunning them for 3 seconds. I like this ability a lot as well. It's a nice little like EP explosion upwards, stunning them, and it pairs well with consecration or any other like AoE damage you have. So yeah, solid spell overall, and I do go back to it from time to time and use it. The next ability is kind of funny. It's called Sacred Chain. Think of it like a bola toss, but a holy bola toss that, you know, obviously CCs enemies. Throw chains out that bounce between up to 6 targets, and the chain stuns them for 8 seconds, but they're dispelled when they take damage, and it's reduced to 3 seconds on players. This could be really good in PvP if you can land it like on a whole group of mobs, right? It's just like a holy bola, and then it chains, like a chain effect. Like Demon Hunter has an ability like that, right? So pretty cool. Well, in D3 it has an ability like that anyway. One of my favorite abilities that's underutilized in Diablo 3 is Shield Charge, and we have it here in Immortal. Charge forward with your shield, pushing all enemies in your path, inflicting damage, and if they collide with terrain, they're stunned for 3 seconds. So this is like some super skilled tactic you could use. Like you can see there's pillars around here. If you can hit them into the pillar, you get a nice big juicy stun to drop some deeps on them. So that might be really good. I haven't found legendaries for it yet. I'm assuming they're going to be really good ones, and I hope there is, because this is one of my favorite skills in the game. It's very thematic to like charging in with like a holy shield and stunning, doing damage, and yeah, I love this spell a lot, and I hope we find some good use for it. As of right now, it's a kind of a weak movement ability and probably really good in PvP, but not that good in PvE, I noticed. A lot of control spells, right? Like a lot of movement and control with Crusader. Light erupts from your shield with shield glare, doing damage, blinding all enemies in front of you. Players will only be blinded if they're facing you, which is kind of interesting. Like in PvP, like if you can kind of counter it by turning around. If you know that the Crusader has this blind ability, you know, you can kind of bait him out or something like that. Here's a legendary that increases the radius by 20% for shield glare. So look how big it is now. It's a way bigger shot with that. This is one of the coolest legendaries. Shield glare now consumes energy to reflect a beam. Check this out. Get down, Mr. President. It turned into like some kind of channeled beam holy wizard. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I thought it was interesting. And again, there's legendaries to increase the duration of channeled abilities and things like that. So yeah, check it out. One of the coolest visual spells. It's abilities like this that really open up our mind to see what the spells can be. It completely changes the whole dynamic of the spell. It went from like this blinding thing that was maybe not interesting to some people to now this crazy dynamic ability where you can be a channeled, you know, Beamadin, I guess. Up next we have Spinning Shield, probably my favorite ability besides Pony. and Consecration. Like, these are some of my favorites. Hurl a shield, inflicting damage to all enemies in its path, and then it returns to you. And players can only be affected by spinning shield once every 3 seconds. It pulls enemies toward you as well, so you can kind of have some, it's like what, Link's boomerang. You kind of have some big brain plays with it, throw it, and then kind of pull it back, and maybe get 2 hits on PvP or PvE. This is one of my favorite runes for it. It basically looks like hammer, like a Hammerdin, right? So it turns your shield into a hammer. So way different from what it was before, where it goes forward and comes back. Here's a legendary that says spinning shield now explodes on impact. So you can get some nice AoE. One thing I noticed about this is it doesn't crit, but this is what the little explosion looks like. It is kind of weird that it doesn't crit. So maybe they'll change that, or maybe it's intended for balance purposes. I'm not sure. And finally, and again, there might be more spells. We don't have the actual release max level in the game. The release max level is going to be 60. We have access to level 55. So there might be 1 or 2 abilities. Just like from last alpha to this alpha, we got 2 more abilities. So we might get 1 more, I'm not sure. But as of right now, this is the last ability for the video. Sweep a mystical flail through 2 enemies in front of you. It's called Sweep Attack. Does damage. Charging longer increases range and damage. It'll also knock enemies away. And it looks like this, so you can kind of easily aim where you want to go. I love this little wind-up animation. It's very, like, you know, animated, and it's kind of just like quirky, but I like it, man. It brings a lot of life to the character. Here's a legendary that now strikes all enemies. So now just in a cone, like you saw, now it's completely all around, like a full 360. And then this is my favorite one. This is the one you saw in the video. This is what turns it into like a Tempest Rush Monk or something like that, where you're just kind of spinning around, propeller, satyr. You can literally pull them all on your horse across the map, chain them all, and then just sweep attack them to the death. I love it. They added a big endgame PvP to Immortal for this alpha phase, and the earliest we can do it is Saturday. So I'm posting this video on Saturday. I probably will be live around 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to do this event, to see how it plays out. I'm not exactly sure how it's all structured. We haven't actually played it before. No one's played it before. So if you want to join me, check me out, twitch.tv/bloodshed. A like on the video, again, would be much appreciated. Comments, let me know what you think about Crusader. I have tons of links in the description for everything, a full-fledged website where I'm going to be posting all my Immortal videos, content, and everything like that. Thank you so much for watching. This is Bloodshed, and I'm out of here. Peace.